morning and welcome to the Bumper Breakfast Show. It's a Tuesday morning, a beautiful one at that. I'm glad to be alive. Thank God for the gift of my voice and thank God for the gift of life. I hope you're willing and ready to have, three-course breakfast with us this morning. We're going to serve it steaming hot, and that I promise. So I just ask you to sit back, relax, and have fun while you watch. On the table today, we have Akin Fatunke. Good morning.
Good morning. So, good morning, Nigerians. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you for making it, because anyone who is able to make it over to work, to their commitment, their daily commitment, it must be putting in a whole lot of effort, and that's the truth. So thank you for being here. And of course, we have Stanley on the table this morning. Apart from being on the table with us, generally, Stanley is going to be handling the sports bit this morning.
Well, if time permits us, because we have a whole lot to discuss this morning. But good morning.
Good morning. All right, so much is happening. I looked through and I saw that we're going to be spending about 19 billion naira, very soon. In Nigeria, in this Nigeria that you and I live, we're going to be spending 19 billion naira very soon. If you ask me what it is for, I can quickly tell you off the top of my head that it's supposed to be to fix the engine of the vice president's presidential jet. Okay, so that's where we are right now. In the same Nigeria where we cannot feed properly, in the same Nigeria where our school children don't get the best in terms of education, our healthcare is in jeopardy. It's same Nigeria where insecurity thrives. It's even more common than the naira that we spend. If you ask me, it's this same Nigeria, that want to spend 19 billion naira for vice president's presidential jet, and I understand it, very very well. I understand why that is a priority, but I'm not going to say anything yet. We have people on the table who will dissect this and analyze it and tell us the reason why this is a priority at this point in time. Akin Fatunke is very capable. We also have Stanley, so we'll throw it open to Akin Fatunke. I mean, how do you see it? Buying a presidential vice president, well, it's a presidential jet, but it's for the vice president. Repairing or fixing the engine rather. At this point in time, do you think it's a wise decision?
Thank you very much, Tony. Even if it is a must do, I'm not considering that it is. The optics is wrong. The focus and the timing appear to me not too right. And I can tell you that straight and cosmopolitan thinking Nigerians will not support and cannot support this. Vox Populi, Vox Dei, and if Vox Populi is Vox Dei, not at a time when things are going southwards. Mark what I'm saying, that even if it is expedient, even if it's been budgeted for, even if it becomes an act of God, that must and should happen, the optics is not right at all. Not just that it is not right, it's also poking a finger in the face and direction of people that you have described. Economics talks about list of priorities, for which I will always be what to describe as opportunity costs. What is the opportunity cost of the presidency making this a priority and making a song and dance about it? what really is wrong with us? I don't think this will go down well in the next within the first quarter of this year, by way of a discourse where we are still pleading to our medical personnel
not to go on strike.
Not to japa one and then not to go on strike. And then again, even if the money is available, we should be a bit rational and a bit emotional with our intelligence, how we go about this. There's going to be a lot of flack, genuine and not genuine. And I'm talking about genuine now. I'm not talking about, just people criticizing for criticizing's sake. It's not looking well. So therefore, if I say so much billions should not be spent on the natural question that I know I'll be asking, so what happens? Should he be walking with his legs? Should he be crawling? Should he no more travel? And my response would be, no, we do it all the time, even within families. You can bear me witness. Stanley, I also believe that you can bear me witness that in a family setting, our needs and wants, including gifting goods, GIFFEN, luxury, including the basic, even to eke a living goods, we prioritize all of them. So what's going to be priority for my wife and priority for myself will be a car that needs a bit of change for one of us, if two of us have cars. But to go buy another one that will cost X amount of money, so why don't we alternate? So on the day she will go out for very important duties, I will look for another means of transporting there and vice versa. If we did that, none of us will die. We'll even be able to bond a bit more, and then we'll be able to resolve the priorities of the family, which will include the children. And for God's sake, which will even include, God forbid, I repeat, God forbid, life-threatening things that can happen within the family. If you go ahead and go and buy another car, are we not going to be going astray in all ramifications? Whether it's 19 million, whether it's 1 million, it's wrong priorities.
Wrong timing, in your opinion. Okay, I was supposed to have read that story before I asked you the question, but because it wasn't opening up, but quickly, Stanley, came to the rescue. So I'll quickly read that story, at least to an extent. The federal government has allocated a cumulative 10.61 billion naira for the overhaul of the engines on the Gulfstream G550 aircraft assigned to Vice President Kashim Shettima over a 3-year period. An analysis of appropriation bills from 2024 to 2026 has revealed. The aircraft registered as 5NFGW received the highest single allocation among all engine overhaul projects in the presidential air fleet. Are you listening? Accounting for 55% of the 19.27 billion naira total spent on the engine maintenance across the fleet under the President Bola Tinubu administration. Budget documents obtained and analyzed by one of our newspapers show that the allocation, oh my God, I kind of showed that, just 1 second. Oh well, I think we're having network issues right now, so the page is not coming up, but it will come up. It's coming up gradually. Okay, here we go. Um, Budget documents obtained and analyzed by the Punch show that the allocation of overhauling the vice president's aircraft engines jumped from 1.24 billion in 2024 to 5.51 billion in 2025, a 345% increase before settling at 3.86 billion naira in 2026. The 2024 appropriation bill listed the project under code ERGP 31206-170 as overhaul of 5N FGW engines with a new status and an allocation of 1.24 billion naira by 2025. The project status changed to ongoing, with the allocation rising to 5.51 billion before declining to 3.86 billion in 2026 while maintaining its ongoing status. The 13-year-old Gulfstream G550, which flies under the call sign Nigeria Air Force 2 when carrying the vice president, has been plagued with technical faults that have led to cancellations of Shatima's international trips in the past. In May 2024, Shatima was forced to abort his trip to the United States for the 2024 U.S. Africa Business Summit in Dallas, Texas, after the aircraft developed a technical fault mid-flight. The incident occurred less than a month after President Tinubu was compelled to charter a private jet to Saudi Arabia when the same Gulfstream jet originally assigned to the vice president developed an oxygen leak in the Netherlands. 4 months later, in October 2024, the vice president again cancelled his trip to the Commonwealth Heads of Government Summit in Samoa after a foreign object hit the aircraft during a stopover at JFK Airport in New York. Presidency officials who spoke on condition of anonymity to one of the correspondents said the repeated technical failures may have prompted urgent maintenance, which in turn drove the escalating budget allocations. Aside from the vice president's aircraft, the federal government also allocated funds for overhauling engines on 2 Falcon 7X jets registered 5N FGV and 5N FGU, which received 1.66 billion in 2024, 3.13 billion in 2025, and 2.19 billion in 2026, totaling 6.98 billion over the 3 years. Additionally, a Gulfstream jet registered 5N FGS received 1.68 billion for engine overhaul in 2024, and on and on and on the story goes. Well, that's the meat of the story, and now we can see the details. I would have loved to go back to Akifatuke, but I'm coming to you, Stanley, this time. Looking at the details, looking at the amount of money that has been spent, and they're still intending to spend on this particular jet, which keeps on coming up with all sorts of issues. What really is your take on it? I would like to ask a very innocent question. Please permit me. I know how important it is for our vice president to have to be mobile, to be able to fly into various countries. But I want to ask: is it a crime for him to take a commercial flight if in the interim he doesn't have a jet to use? Or is it impossible for the vice president to use the president's jet to carry out international assignments?
So there's a Portuguese word that says "Cusera Serra." What would be. It's sad and unfortunate that we do not have scale of preference. I'm not saying it is wrong for the vice president's aircraft to be fixed. You never can tell when anything that has to do with either automobile or aircraft
Can go wrong
or can develop fault. Hence the reason why you should always be prepared for sometimes the unthinkable that may likely happen or arise. Having said that, this is not the first time, going by what you just read, that this aircraft will be
has
developing
developed faults.
faults.
And it's a 13-year-old aircraft.
Now, it's in this same country, they packaged an airline, brought it to us, and they said it's Nigeria Airways, this same country, under the late former president Muhammadu Buhari, who passed away.
You know, that was just, for me, that was a comedy.
Okay. But
it happened anyway.
It's a disgrace for a country as big as Nigeria.
Very shameful.
Now, like I said, I don't have a problem with allocating money to fix the vice president's aircraft, but such money is too humongous. At a stage like this, I think we need to start sacrificing, and it starts from the leaders. I'm not saying the life of Mr. Vice President is not important. Very, very important, and as important as every life or the life of an average Nigerian. Now, in all of this, the interest of the people first comes first. It's not a must he flies that aircraft. God forbid now. God forbid. And I repeat, God forbid, it won't happen. But if care is not taken, what we pray that shouldn't happen, if care is not taken, could likely happen.
What is that?
Now, the flight, the aircraft crash landing. You can never tell the kind of fault it would develop on air.
At any point in time.
You understand? Why the aircraft's about taking off, or after, you understand? Now, I am sure that's not the only aircraft we have in this country, in the presidential fleet of jets or aircraft. If one is not working, why not fix the other one? And if
why not even use one of the?
I'm sure we have more.
In the presidential fleet.
What's even the state of the rest? That's another thing. Why can't you just lay off the ones that are bad, add money to it, and get a new one? Instead of wasting, I'm sorry to use this word, instead of wasting taxpayers' money to fix an aircraft that has been in existence for 13 years. Even if you buy a car for 13 years, won't you change it? At least you would lay one off and okay, let me add money to it and get a new one. We have been using the same aircraft for 13 years. How about now? How about? And it means we have been spending money on this same aircraft, vice president of vice president, 13 years now. So it means it started under late President Muhammadu Buhari's administration down to Kashim Shettima, 13 years. So it means the ones that the PDP used, they've dumped it. Or they're taking it out of the presidential jet space. I think we need to be considerate as a people in this country. We need to be considerate. And the earlier we begin to understand that, we need to start making sacrifices as a people and as a leader, the better for this country.
Okay, Fatika, now you know the facts, you know the details, you know the figures. As somebody who's coming from that background, let's look at the analysis. So we have the conclusion. Your conclusion is that the timing is wrong. There are more important things to do right now.
So add the spread. Okay. You know, your story has also said within time period.
Over a period of time.
Logical, but still does not take away my point, my advice, and my conclusion. Back in the university, when we saw glimpses of things like this, you know, there will be people who will come, speculate, and then those of us who now then say, but why don't you know what they tell us? And I'm sure the few must have heard that so many times. Go and sit down because you are not there. You are jealous and all that. And my dear friend and brother Stanley also threw in in his analysis, another cogent point that you can't throw away.
Excuse me.
Safety. And he laid it with what? Our usual penchant. Prayers. What if Mr. Vice President is traveling and then that will not happen in any way? My point still remains that in everything that we do, let's know where we are coming from and let's know the history. I did not come to my conclusion just because this came on. I came to my conclusion because I know and understand the history. And if you like, use President Muhammadu Buhari's period as a cutoff, but I know it went beyond President Muhammadu Buhari. You remember at a point in time, we had so many planes in the presidential fleet. President Muhammadu Buhari, as austere as he was, said he was going to sell this off because so he got there, going to find out for one reason or the other that was not going to sell it off. Succeeded by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who came with reforms. Everybody know where I stand concerning these reforms. I think they are necessary. They are necessary pills that we must take. And one of the downsides to the reform is, yes, we know is the way to go, but we are not seeing you making sacrifices. My expectation would have been immediately President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came, and he knew it was going to be subsidy gone, down to where we are at now, tax reforms, which we should have. He should also begin to use himself as a priority. Sell off all the presidential jets. This story is also not complete if you don't say that Mr. President ordered for an Airbus, and people were saying, for God's sake, at that time we should have sold off some of these things and then put the money in. So you don't want to sell. Senate President will take one, maybe this other person will take one. This is as we say in my language. And you must, I know one of the reasons why you threw this to me is because you know how I feel about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency. Say yes, let's continue to swallow the pills. This is a low for me. The history also talked about the fact that we then needed to, build a vice president's lodge. There are certain things that happened in Lagos, the other barracks, and amongst others. We have not shown the priorities in such a way that Mr. President will have to use himself as an example. The plane that Mr. President uses, let's scatter. Where are they going? Yeah, nice question. At that time, we didn't have ambassadors. Now we have ambassadors designates. And I can tell you for free, to me, it's part of the sacrifice. The president and the vice president and the secretary need not necessarily have to honor all those obligations. Yes, I know what I'm saying.
We don't
and
even
in
just
not wanting to honor those obligations, then you will not need 2 planes or 3 planes. Then you can synergize, and the people you are leading will now understand that yes, we are hungry, we don't have enough, we don't have good minimum wage that we can take home and all that. But our leaders are also sacrificing. The final thing, whether you are talking about this plane or talking about whatever it is, I have sat here analyzing on this table with you too, all the time, even when we disagree, has always been, I don't trust, I don't believe they will do what they say they will do. Why are they going to be asking us to be tightening seat belts and they are not tightening their own, and they are all doing yafu yafu? You cannot be thinking of wanting to help people like Moses to the promised land that will take 40 years. And from the onset, from the get-go, you begin to prioritize this way. The people will not follow you. The people will not follow you. It's unfortunate. So with this story that you have told me, if my disapproval was 60%, it's now gone to 75 to 80%. Thank you.
Well, just before I call for a break, because it's time to take a break, really. Just food for thought. Perhaps Mr. President, in one way or the other, needs to, settle Mr. VP. Otherwise, perhaps let me. That's not your thinking? Okay, hold your thought. Let's take a break, and when we return, we can discuss it. We'll take a break right now. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Bumper Breakfast Show on MITV. Please stay tuned.
We're kicking your year off
in all her glory.
with more because we've got you.
You know that I got it.
I get it.
We got kicks, we got scores, we got action, we got roars.
It's my specialty.
We got drama, we got fun. We got more for everyone.
Bingo.
You know that I got it. You know that I got it.
Come get it. Come get with us and stick with us too. And boom, there's an upgrade on us just for you.
We got you.
More channels, more shows, more reasons to stay.
Perfect.
For the fam, for the crew, more for you every day. Yes, we've got more of everything you need to start your year with extra joy.
You know that I got it.
Thank you.
DSTV, we've got you all the way.
You know that I got it.
to the Bumper Breakfast Show. Apologize for I'm a bit under the weather. I have some sort of flu. I'm a bit under the weather. I have some sort of flu. Just started this morning. Okay, so the next story: 2-year refining milestone. Fuel import spending crashes 54% to $6.7 billion. Well, I think that's good news. But what percentage of the population has that affected, really? That's what's also important. Okay, I'll just quickly take the story. The amount spent on the importation of refined petroleum products has dropped sharply by 54% in 2 years, falling from $14.58 billion in the first 9 months of 2023 to $6.71 billion in the corresponding period of 2025, according to data from the Central Bank of Nigeria's balance of payments February and September 2024, representing a $3.20 billion or 2.19% decline compared with $14.58 billion recorded in the same period of 2023, pointing to a sharp contraction in foreign exchange outflows associated with refined petroleum products. The downward trend accelerated in 2025, with fuel imports dropping further by $4.67 billion or 41% to $6.71 billion within the first 9 months of the year, marking the steepest year-on-year contraction in the period analyzed. Overall, the figures show that Nigeria spent $7.87 billion less on refined fuel Despite the decline, Nigerian fuel importing marketers still spent an estimated $6.71 billion importing refined products during the review period, underscoring the country's continued dependence on foreign fuel supplies, despite repeated assurances that domestic refining would significantly curb imports. Although the quarterly fuel import bill declined consistently, the data highlighted persistent structural weakness in the downstream oil sector. Well, the story goes on and on. It's quite long, but basically we can see, Akin Fatunke, that there has been, a remarkable gain, in that area, and we were spending far less, on the importing of petroleum products, thanks to the Dangote refinery, really, because we talk about other refineries getting up and running, but that is not that's not really a statement of fact. They're on and off, if you ask me. They work today and they don't work tomorrow. But yeah, the Dangote refinery has made an impact in this industry, and we cannot but mention it and say kudos to Dangote. Now, what's your take on this? What's your opinion? Is it a good thing? Do you think that eventually, somehow this would spread? Because looking at the figures, I think it's remarkable, and I'm sure you'd agree with me. I don't know what you want to say, but I'm sure one of the things you will say is that it's a step in the right direction, and we're doing well. Nigerians benefit from this. What's your take on that?
My take is to be clear and say, before Abraham was, I am. You are so correct that we must praise the man of the year, perhaps the man of the century, Dangote. We must also situate it and praise President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. All what you read, asking me if it is remarkable, it is a quantum leap. It hasn't happened for decades. Yes, it came at the back of a lot of groan, a lot of pain. We spoke about issues surrounding priorities, no doubt about it. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has shown more than capacity to tackle where we are at in the terms of trades that you have mentioned, aspect that we all know, because I was in that field. You dare not. I repeat, you dare not. The cabals will do you in. And the Dangote that we are praising today, of course, you knew how he shouted.
It didn't come easy for him. It
And
didn't come on the platter
it
of
would not
gold.
have come easy for
It
anybody.
didn't come on the platter of gold.
There are so many people, of course, BUA, even the regulators. You knew one of the things that happened. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took like a rock of Gibraltar. At specific times, tried to do what I describe as quantitative easing. Dangote, 20 billion, the largest refinery, with that risk. And we're going to go for Naira for crude. But I will also not want to throw away your point. How many Nigerians how many Nigerians are benefiting? I would say last December, maybe the December previous, we are beginning to see non-prevalence of queues for the very first time. These are some of
the benefits.
gains. Now, I worked in oil and gas, and I worked as a marketer. I knew that it was not going to be easy. Issue of price war, NNPC, competitor, and then you are now being a regulator. It's like, Stanley is like the referee at the last match against Bulgaria, now being on the side of one side and all that. Quite a number of distortions. But we must start from somewhere. Even as economists say, if you say it's marginal, it's a quantum marginal. The other thing is that Nigeria is now a net exporter for the very first time. It hasn't happened. I've seen competence in that area. Could be honed and could be better with the kind of trust and the kind of competition that I'm beginning to see, hopefully. While that is going on, the other reforms in the foreign exchange sector that takes away over 60, 70, 80% of our demand for forex, that end up being round-tripped and smuggled, is also trying to take shape. The Nigerian economy is beginning to get some skeletons, even if you are not seeing flesh yet. Those will be my comments. Thank you.
Don't, it's very simple. And I must say that when
He didn't even wait for me.
No verse.
You almost even asked him to keep quiet.
No verse. Now, when Mr. President said our pains would be temporary, because as Nigerians, we've gone through a lot and we needed a quick fix. Hence the reason why we clamored for at least let's have something that would douse the tension. He told us that our pains would be temporary. It started with inflation dropping to 14.7%. Now another inflation has dropped in the oil sector. That's to tell you that he's recording success. Now I am for the people out there, not the elite, and I would always stand for them, because like I've always said, governance
It's
is
not that you always stand for them, Stanley. You don't have a choice. You are one of them.
Of course, definitely. You understand? I can choose to speak for the elite, but then the common man out there will ask you, you are not only a journalist for the elite.
What's the balance if you're not
God
there?
bless you. Now, the average Nigerian out there wants to see in evidence what Mr. President is doing.
Exactly.
Now, one of the things they have seen, and they will come, I'm sure they are commending Mr. President for, is one of those basic things: food affordability. It may not be 100% at the moment, but I'm telling you, the amount of sale of some of these commodities is really gradually coming down. For example,
coming from you, that's good.
From some of the perishables, you understand. And if you go to the My 12 market, you will find them at plenty. And once you have enough supply, demand will reduce. And there's something they call equilibrium, where demand and supply meet. Now, if the demand is more than supply, there will be the scarcity will definitely prevail. Now, we are in a country where, in the last 5 years, before now, we had queues at our various filling stations. I criticize monopolizing our oil industry. It should be a competitive market. But if one man has said, for me, I am not a fan of Dangote, but I commend his doggedness. That's never say that spirit that I must and I can do this. And it's paying dividend for Nigeria. You know why? Like he said, which I will allude to. Our first oil landed in the United States. And that was why Donald Trump indirectly told us that we are a country of particular concern. Not because he really wants to help Nigeria in the context that he brought those topics. Because he knew there was something. How come all of a sudden he's not even talking about Nigeria? He's facing Venezuela now. The largest oil reserve that we have in the world. So wherever your interest lies, that's where you focus your attention. And I must say that being Minister of what's it called now? Petroleum. Mr. President has done it silently, and the results are there, manifesting. He has not done everything yet, but I am sure that, yes, for the first time I'm speaking for Mr. President because I am seeing some of the changes. But Nigerians want more. We are Oliver Twist. We are insatiable. And if Dangote has done this, and I saw a report late last year, that in no distant time we would have another refinery in Lagos. That brings competition. I saw a report yesterday that in some part of Ogun State, definitely the price they sell in Lagos State is different from the. I saw a report that in some filling stations in some parts of Ogun State, they now sell for 732 naira, 733 naira, and the benchmark for Dangote is 739 naira. That's to tell you there's competition right now. The retailers also don't want to run at a loss. So if you understand that fact, it's just like you own a business, I run the same business, I would always be on the lookout. You must always survey. Okay, how much as the she seller has yesterday, I want to bring it down. I want my customers to patronize me. Yes, as much as you're maximizing profits, the price of commodities and items will definitely reduce, and that's where inflation comes in. The moment you have all of these things in abundance, definitely demand will reduce, because once you have them at your beck and call, you can easily close your eyes and say, please just go there. Unlike before, you will rush to the filling station and say, but once you exhaust your fuel this minute, you can be rest assured that
you can just drive in and
it's as simple as that. And that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to see as a people. And that's how you rate a government. But Mr. President, that I am praising you now does not mean you have done enough. Please, we want more. I submit.
Okay, thank you for your submission, and I do agree with you and Akin Fatunke, but not 100%. Clearly, we agree on the fact that the government, the effects of certain policies, decisions, and everything that have been taken by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, are yielding results. But again, the question I asked about how many people are feeling this, coming from you saying that the prices of perishables and commodities in the market has gone down. You go to the market, a whole lot more than I do. So that's why I said, coming from you, I want to believe, but again, the people who are feeling this directly, I don't think they're more than 10%, in terms of, So I agree with you on the petrol, the fact that we can drive into petrol. We've not lost as many lives as we used to in the past. Because people were hoarding fuel and dying from hoarding fuel, from explosions and all of that. So these are all the things that we can see that the president has done. But we want this thing, like you said, I'm not going to say I'm an Oliver Twist, but I'm saying that we want everybody to feel these things, I believe that certain things are seasonal, perhaps that's why the market is filled with, tomatoes and onions and all of that, because this is the season for these things. Sometimes when they're not in season, they could be so expensive. But all in all, this is what we want to be talking about. We want to come to this table and say, look, we can actually see what the government has done. This is the effect. If anybody says they haven't seen, one thing I can say we have seen is that we've not lost lives like we used to from hoarding petrol. And then we can drive into the filling stations and buy petrol for a much more reasonable amount than we were buying about a year, 2 years ago. So I think that's a step in the right direction, Mr. President. We're asking for a whole lot more. We need to be secure in our country, our lives and our property. That for us is priority. We need good health care. We need education. I was watching this video of Nigerians in diaspora, Nigerian students on scholarship in Morocco. They've been, landlords have driven them away from their houses.
That's the bilateral education at
Yes. I mean, these monies have been allocated, but they're not getting the monies. They can't pay for accommodation. They can't take care of their health. They have to go and work, and they're not supposed to work because they don't have work permits. So they're doing this at their own risk. Some people have died. Some, need medical attention. They don't have all of these things. It's a whole lot. And Mr. President cannot do it on his own. He needs to stop micromanaging. He needs to stop flying out to Dubai. He needs to stop flying to Brazil. He needs to stop flying. Perhaps he's going on vacation or going for health issues. Well,
if it's health, it goes to France.
He goes to France, whatever. if it's health, I am not in support of him going to France. Fix it here. Fix it here. If you fix it here, then you don't need to go to France. You don't need France. Nigeria, I think, is greater than any France. I mean, if we did what we need to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, well, that's my opinion.
I understand you, but you would also factor in the people's problem.
What is the people's problem?
Now, we lack maintenance culture.
We lack maintenance culture.
Yes, I'll tell you this. It's in this country that government would put facilities in place. The average Nigerian will go there, vandalize some of these things. The properties does not belong to the government. We've seen videos where people will just go to, what's it called now? Rails and unscrew some of these things on the railings.
Stanley, it comes back to government. Government needs to keep these people busy. Government needs to rehabilitate these people. We see them on the streets every day. We see them at traffic lights in Lekki doing absolutely nothing. Government needs to take them off the road and keep them busy. If government keeps them busy and they can feed themselves, then perhaps we'll have less of all these things. That's one. On the other hand, Stanley, the same thing. In every establishment, you have saboteurs. In the private health sector, you have people who sabotage. You understand? But they just keep on because they look at the overall benefits at the end of the day. The broader picture. So we can't, the government cannot stop and say because the people are this, so we're not going to do anything. Government, it has to continue to work. That's the way it is. In America, in the UK, in everywhere, you have people in this category. But government just needs to keep on working.
I understand you 100% though. But you know our major problem.
And I'm not saying that we don't need to work on ourselves. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying let government do what government needs to do.
I was going to just support you. Also, indirectly also support you. Government needs to do more. Absolutely no doubt. But when government does a little, let's also
and I think that's the problem. I think that the problem is that we keep saying government should just do a little. We should stop saying government should do a little.
No.
Government should do.
You're not allowing me to land what I want to say.
Government should do more. Let's protect some of these things.
I get what I'm coming back.
Government does a little. You see, part of the problems we have in here is that government can just wake up and then with a magic wand in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 year, it's not going to happen. It can't.
What's not going to happen?
It has to be gradual, based on the reforms that we are seeing. What you are asking government to do, of course, my own problem is not that government should do. Government should set the right tone and the right example.
Sure.
So whatever little you do, you support. Take the example of what you just raised, that in Morocco, that you know, I have also read situations where appropriation has been made, people have been paid up to 2024, and yet same Nigerians, and you know the pension that we have. The pension is just go there, like he said, go and steal, it doesn't matter. Government's property is supposed to be our own property. We need a fundamental change of heart. And that change of heart, I started by telling you that the government lead by example, begin to sacrifice more so that people can trust you. Because people don't trust government. We're a country of so many nations. So my point, therefore, is the precursor to this discussion, the trade surplus that Nigeria is facing, that we did not face for the past 10, 15, 20 years. That will have sunk us the more. But because we all decided that no matter how, let's see how we can even begin to do more. Take agriculture.
We need to round up Akinfatuke.
Okay.
So we need
Take
to
the policy. You have to listen. Take the policy about tax. Food will not attract VAT. Is that not going to tell you that in 2026 price naturally should be coming down? But when some people now then decide that Nigeria is going to be ungovernable because of politics, and then you begin to kidnap, and then you begin to do ice swap and all that kind of stuff, it is not something that government alone can do. We all must come together. It is when the right hand and the left hand begin to shout, that's when you are going to get an orchestra. That's my point. I rest.
Okay, well,
I'm not going to say
Akinfatuke,
Ma.
just to let you know that I was listening, but I have in front of me a schedule that I need to work with. So if I tell you that we need to round up, we need to round. What I was going to say was hold your thoughts,
Okay.
and then when we come
Return.
back, we can take it up.
But since
you are already of the opinion that I don't want to listen.
No. That's not
I don't want to
For your
listen.
information, it's not only you. Nigerians
Okay.
collectively don't want to listen, and that is they don't want to hear the truth. It's
Okay.
very bitter.
Okay.
So I've poured it out.
Well,
Already.
we will be right back. We'll take a break right now, and we will be celebrating 70 years of excellence with Senator Barrister Fatima Olufunke Raji Rasaki. A senator and barrister, Fatima Olufunke Raji Rasaki stands as a towering symbol of grace, leadership, and unwavering service to Nigeria. She was born on the 1st of January 70 years ago in Ekiti State. Her life at 70 is a remarkable testament to dedication, intellect, and impactful public service. I'm sure her picture, is okay. There we go. All right, a proud daughter of Ekiti State, Senator Raji Rasaki began her academic journey at Doherty Memorial Grammar School, Ijero Ekiti, where her early brilliance and leadership qualities were evident. She proceeded to the University of Lagos, laying a strong foundation for a life of excellence in law, governance, and public administration. Her quest for leadership refinement later took her to the prestigious Harvard Kennedy School, where she completed advanced leadership development programs and earned a fellowship, further solidifying her status as a global-minded leader. Her political journey is marked by groundbreaking service and unwavering commitment to her constituents and the nation at large. From 2007 to 2011, she served with distinction as a member of the Federal House of Representatives representing the Ado-Ekiti, Irepodun, Ifelodun Federal Constituency. Her tenure was defined by advocacy, legislative engagement, and people-centered representation. In 2015, she ascended to the Nigerian Senate, representing the Ekiti Central Senatorial District during the 8th National Assembly, 2015 to 2019. As a senator, she made lasting contributions to national development and served as chairman of the Senate Committee on Culture and Tourism, where she championed the preservation of Nigeria's rich cultural heritage and the promotion of tourism as a driver of economic growth. Originally a member of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Raji Rasaki transitioned to the All Progressives Congress, APC, in 2018, continuing her political journey with the same passion, courage, and commitment to progress. Beyond politics, she is a devoted wife and matriarch married to Brigadier General Raji Alagbe Rasaki, retired, a distinguished former military governor of Ogun, Ondo, and Lagos states. In support of her husband's service to the nation, she graciously served as First Lady of Ogun State from 1986 to 1987 and Lagos State in 1988 to 1991. Roles she fulfilled with elegance, compassion, and a deep sense of responsibility to women and children. At 70, Senator Barrister Fatima Olufunke Raji Rasaki remains a beacon of inspiration, an accomplished lawyer, seasoned legislator, respected stateswoman, and role model to generations of Nigerian women and leaders. Her legacy is one of service, strength, and enduring impact. Happy 70th birthday to a woman of substance, vision, and timeless relevance.
Wow.
Welcome back. So yeah, we had to be on point, for that presentation. And happy birthday from everybody
Happy birthday,
on the
happy
Bumper
birthday,
Breakfast table.
Happy birthday.
Happy
To
birthday.
our distinguished senator. I'm
Exactly.
proud to be a woman when I see women like this who have excelled.
Fatima, Senator Barrister Fatima
Who have
Olufunke
excelled.
Raji Rasaki.
In their various
Field of endeavor.
fields of endeavor. Well done, Ma, well done, and God will continue to preserve your life.
Amen.
You will live for many more decades.
Amen.
The MITV family, under the leadership of Chairman,
Yeah.
are saying we wish you the very best on
Happy
this
birthday.
very special day. Happy birthday
Happy
to
birthday,
you,
man.
and God bless you. All right.
Okay. Tom, do I need to say more? You said it or you read it
There
all?
is no more.
Let's
to
just
say.
move on. Let's just move on.
Let's just quickly move on.
Yeah.
Akin Fatuka, you don't have anything else to say.
Yes, I've said all I have.
You've said everything you have to say. Okay.
Only for me to say happy birthday.
Yeah.
Okay. We do have another presentation at 9:30.
yeah.
And are you taking your sports? We need to be clear.
Let's see.
Let's see how it goes. Okay. Well, if you're not taking your sports, we still have a number of stories that we can touch on very quickly. I'm sure it's no longer news that gunmen are demanding for 100 million from 8 abducted Edo residents, and I think that's quite shameful. I don't know what you think. Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have demanded 100 million for the release of 8 Imoga indigents abducted on Friday night. The Pai of Imoga Kingdom, Oba Patrick Obajoye, who disclosed this on Monday in a telephone conversation, said the victims were kidnapped at Starboy Hotel on Imoga Ibilo Road in Edo North. He stated that the victims had gone to Ibilo for a function and decided to lodge for the night at the Starboy Hotel, which also belonged to an indigent of Imoga. The king stated that the kidnappers came to the hotel in army uniforms and brought drinks pretending to be waiting for someone. He noted that after a while, the kidnappers accosted the owner of the hotel and seized his 2 phones. He said they also seized the phones of the others, tied their hands, and led them into the bush on foot. He said, as it is now, the kidnappers have reduced the ransom to 70 million naira. When we begged for further reduction, they said one of the vehicles belonging to the hotelier should be sold to pay the ransom.
Can you imagine?
8 of them are currently in the kidnappers' den, including 1 woman. The kidnapping looked like an inside job if one considers the way the gunmen spoke to those negotiating the ransom. It is a very sad day for us in our community, and we hope that this will end well for our indigents. However, raising the money is a big task. Imagine young men and women with a great life ahead of them being abducted at a hotel where they have gone to lodge after a function. The monarch commended the personnel of the Edo State Police Command and the state government for their efforts at rescuing the abductees. He added the Edo State Police Command, in conjunction with the state government, came to trace the kidnappers with modern gadgets, but it was unsuccessful. We hope that the rescue move will continue so that the victims can reunite with their families. It was gathered that 1 person sustained a gunshot injury while trying to escape, and he is currently receiving treatment at an undisclosed hospital. The PPRO of the State Police Command, Eno Ikwedem, asked for time to respond as of the time of filing the report. The 2 brothers kidnapped along the Amuge Imoga Road in Edo State on November 10th regained their freedom after their abductors. Is this a different story? Anyway, that is it. When the government is negotiating with the kidnappers to release 8 abductees in Edo State. I don't know how you see it, but for me, I think that is extremely shameful. Akin Fatunke, let's hear what your opinion is in 2 minutes, sir.
My opinion is that you are going to get more of this. We are in the era of politics, and there was a clip I saw in Kano. I don't know how true that is. There was a wedding ceremony, and then these guys came brandishing guns here and there. They run back to their archives, and locals see quite a number of some of these things. Say security is, see something, say something. Don't say that just leave it for government. I am afraid more and more of this will happen. If people continue to say America should come and continue to rescue us, this is the shame of a nation. You can imagine the families of these people. And I tell you one thing for sure, apart from politicians, apart from the locals, apart from the local chiefs, everything is gone bye-bye. Let's seek for Mr. President's quest to states and to Nigeria that we have to do community policing, and that policing should now be not in the exclusive list. Let's embrace it, what and all. Let it be known that you, as a housekeeper, as a house owner, as a neighbor, as a church goer, as a mosque goer, if it is shrine that you go into, within your street, within your ward, we must all come together and try and find something to do, while still crying that those who lead us should continue to prioritize. We don't trust them, we hardly trust them, and because we hardly trust them, even if they provide no matter how little, we go to dissipate it. We are undoing ourselves. I pray if the kidnappers are listening, and be sure that they listen. Sometimes they listen. Oh, boys, oh, girls, please don't harm these people. Those who are planning another onslaught, whether on the roads or elsewhere, please, let's all come together. Let's all make our governments at all levels accountable so that we can have a peaceful life. God bless Nigeria.
Sally, 1 minute. Like if I took has taken your time.
How many minutes did I take?
No, we're not going to give you today. Now, don't see. I say this often because I am passionate about the growth of this country. I'm passionate about living in a country that is safe and secure. No matter the reforms of Mr. President, if we still have an unsecure and unsafe environment, there's no way all of these policies would touch down on each state and community. We're talking about Lagos, and some other states are also saying similar things. But same cannot be said about some of these communities that have been ravaged by banditry, abductions, and kidnapping. There's no how Mr. President would formulate all of these reforms, put it before us, if our bushes are not secure, if our communities are not secure, if we can't sleep with our 2 eyes closed.
Don't forget that someone once said that the forests are too thick for any bomb to penetrate. And thereafter, Trump's bomb came and penetrated the forest. Nigeria. It's only in Nigeria.
Don't I submit like Mr. Fantake? I submit.
All right, we'll take a break right now, and it's for the Lions International District 404B2 Nigeria Lagos Integrity Lions Club public presentation ceremony of Lion Ambassador Kadri Mulero Ganiu, NLCF, as the 10th president of the club, and installation of other club officers held at the Biomass Guest House. And that's what we'll be watching in the next couple of minutes. We will return for the Bumper Breakfast Show. Please don't go anywhere.
Lions International District 404B2 Nigeria, Lagos Integrity Lions Club public presentation of Lion A&B Kadir Mulero Ganiu, NLCF, as the 10th president of Lagos Integrity Lions Club, and installation of other club officers held at Biomass Guest House at 3:25 p.m. Immediate past president of the club, Lion Olori Adenike Taiwo, called the gathering to order.
3:25. I, Lion Olori Adenike Taiwo, I hereby declare this gathering to order.
The colorful event started on a notable note with national anthem, followed by Lion's prayer.
Caring for the blind, also the underprivileged. Let's keep them all in mind. Now, as we do our daily tasks, pray God will do them greatly. The liberty and intelligence will be our nation's safety. Amen.
Lion Toluwalashe Olatunde took international purpose.
However, that partisan politics and sectarian religion shall not be debated by club members. And lastly, to encourage service-minded people to serve their community without personal financial reward, and to encourage efficiency and promote high ethical standard in commerce, industry, profession, public works, and private endeavors.
While Lion Ololade Adewumi took Lion's Code of Ethics.
My state and my community, and to give to them my unswearing loyalty in the words, act, and deed, to give them freely of my time, labor, and ministry. To aid others by giving my sympathy to those in distress, my aid to the weak, and my substance to the needy. To be careful with my criticism, liberal with my praise, and to build up and not to destroy. Thank you.
The club president, Lion Kadir Muleru Ganiu, was ushered in with music and dance. Presentation Committee Chairperson gave a warm welcome address.
Segment of today's program. Your generosity will go a long way in translating this vision into reality and in making a lasting impact in the lives of these children. I sincerely appreciate our past presidents, executives, and all Lions whose sacrifices and commitments have sustained the growth and relevance of this great club. I also extend my gratitude to our invited guests and partners for standing with us in our service journey. And as we proceed with the program of events, I invite everyone to kindly sit back, relax, and enjoy the ceremony as it unfolds in the true spirit of fellowship and Lionism. Once again, thank you for being part of this memorable occasion. Welcome and enjoy the moment.
The outgoing president of the club gave a heart-thrilling valedictory speech.
New leadership take the end. I do so with confidence and peace that Lagos Integrity Lions Club is strong because its foundation is built on integrity, unity, and genuine love for service. I urge every Lion to continue to support one another and to remember that service is most powerful when it is guided by compassion. Though my tenure has ended, my commitment to Lionism has not. I remain always a servant of humanity and a lion at heart. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the trust. Thank you for the opportunity to serve.